The GP tent smelled of antiseptic, dust, and old canvas baking under a merciless sun, the kind of place where time felt suspended between pain and survival, where lives were held together by gauze, grit, and quiet courage. Outside, helicopters thudded like distant thunder, but inside, everything moved in a controlled blur of medics, stretchers, and wounded men trying not to break. In the middle of it all sat a single dad with dirt on his boots, exhaustion etched into his face, and a silence around him that felt heavier than any weapon. When a young U.S. Marine casually asked him about his rank, no one expected the answer to stop the entire tent cold. Before this story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unseen sacrifices people carry every day, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. The man sat on a folding cot near the back of the tent, shoulders slumped, hands clasped together as if holding himself upright through sheer will. His name was Daniel Reyes, though almost no one here knew it. To most, he was just another civilian contractor, another body caught in the chaos of a forward operating base somewhere far from home. His left arm was wrapped in blood-stained bandages, and his face bore the dull stare of someone who had not slept properly in years, not days. He wasn't complaining. He wasn't asking for help. He simply waited, the way men do when they've learned that patience is often the only thing left. Daniel hadn't planned to be here. Years ago, he had planned birthday parties, school drop-offs, and bedtime stories whispered to a little girl who used to fall asleep with her fingers curled into his shirt. Life, however, had rewritten his plans with brutal efficiency. After his wife died suddenly, leaving him alone with a 6-year-old daughter and a grief too big to name, Daniel did what many broken people do. He buried himself in work. Logistics, supply coordination, transport in hostile zones. It paid well enough to keep food on the table and offered long contracts that allowed him to avoid the quiet of an empty house. But it also meant danger, separation, and the constant weight of fear that one day his daughter might grow up without him too. The injury that brought him into the GP tent was the result of a convoy hit earlier that morning. An explosion, a rush of heat and noise, and then the sharp pain that reminded him he was still alive. He had helped pull 2 younger men from the wreckage before finally sitting down, his arm numb, his ears ringing. Medics had treated him quickly, efficiently, without questions. Civilians didn't get many questions out here. You patched them up, stabilized them, and moved on. A group of Marines occupied the center of the tent, some wounded, some just waiting on orders. They were young, loud in the way only youth and adrenaline can be, cracking jokes to keep the fear at bay. One of them, barely old enough to shave properly, glanced over at Daniel and smirked. The man didn't look like much, he thought. No visible insignia, no uniform, just tired eyes and a battered body. In the casual, thoughtless tone of someone who had not yet learned how much weight words can carry, he asked about Daniel's rank, more out of boredom than malice. What happened next did not involve raised voices or dramatic gestures. Daniel slowly lifted his head, his eyes meeting the Marines. In that moment, something shifted. The joking energy faltered, as if the air itself had thickened. Daniel answered simply, without pride, without bitterness, without trying to impress anyone. He explained that he no longer wore a rank, that the last one he held was years ago, back when his life had a different shape. The tent went quiet because the medics recognized the tone before they recognized the meaning. It was the voice of someone who had carried responsibility that never really leaves you. As Daniel continued, explaining his past in measured, unembellished terms, the pieces fell into place. Former U.S. Marine, multiple deployments, platoon leader, decorations he never mentioned by name. The kind of service that doesn't make headlines but changes everyone it touches. He spoke about leaving the Corps not because he wanted to, but because his daughter needed him alive more than the uniform needed him present. He spoke about choosing bedtime stories over briefings, school lunches over training exercises, and how none of those choices ever felt like a sacrifice. They felt like duty of a different kind. The Marine who had asked the question felt his face burn with embarrassment, but more than that, with something close to awe. Daniel didn't stop there, though. He spoke about how life after service was not a straight road. About struggling to fit into a world that felt too slow, too loud in the wrong ways. About nights when he woke up reaching for a weapon that wasn't there, only to find his daughter standing in the doorway after a nightmare of her own. He spoke about the guilt of surviving when others didn't, and the quiet promise he made to himself to live in a way that honored them. The GP tent had seen plenty of pain, but this was different. This wasn't fresh blood or visible wounds. This was the slow ache of a man who had given everything, lost something irreplaceable, and kept going anyway. The medics paused in their work. The Marines stopped joking. Even the constant background noise seemed to fade, replaced by a collective understanding that they were in the presence of someone who embodied the values they wore on their sleeves. Daniel's challenge had never been bravery. It had been endurance. Waking up every day knowing that his daughter depended on him, knowing that fear was no excuse, knowing that quitting was not an option. He struggled with loneliness, with the weight of decisions made under impossible circumstances, with the knowledge that no medal could ever replace the family moments he missed. Yet, slowly, things began to change. His daughter grew stronger, more resilient, inspired by a father who showed up even when he was exhausted. He found purpose in mentoring younger contractors, teaching them not just how to survive, but how to come home human. In that tent, something changed for everyone present. The young Marine learned that respect isn't demanded, it's earned through humility and sacrifice. The medics were reminded why they worked endless hours under impossible conditions. And Daniel, perhaps for the first time in a long while, felt truly seen. Not as a contractor, not as a civilian, not as a broken man holding it together, but as someone whose life still mattered in ways he hadn't allowed himself to believe. As he was eventually escorted out for further treatment, the Marines stood straighter. Not because they were ordered to, but because they wanted to. Daniel walked past them with the same quiet dignity he had carried into the tent, his bandaged arm held close, his mind already drifting back to thoughts of home. Back to a small apartment with mismatched furniture, a fridge covered in crayon drawings, and a little girl who would ask if he was okay the moment she heard his voice. The war would continue. The tent would fill again. But the moment lingered, etched into memory. A reminder that strength doesn't always shout, that heroes don't always look the part, and that sometimes the most powerful ranks are the ones we carry in our hearts. If this story touched you, if it reminded you of someone who carries more than they show, please take a moment to like the video, share it, and let others feel this too. Your engagement helps keep these stories alive.